Hi, my name is Dr. Felucia, and I'm a licensed psychologist. And in today's video, I'm going to be addressing a question that I hear quite often regarding spiritual abuse, which is a topic that I frequently cover on this channel. So the question that people often bring up is, when is the right time to leave the spiritually abusive environment? And while there isn't a one size fits all answer to this, I'm going to be reviewing some techniques, some psychological techniques that can help you in making this decision. Okay, so here is the question again. When is the right time to leave the spiritually abusive environment? And I would answer that there is no right time. And a psychological principle that goes with this is kind of having this all or none thinking. And it's not uncommon for people who have been through spiritual abuse to really worry and fret and have a lot of anxiety and distress over making the right decision. So it's either this one or it's this one. And so sometimes that can seep into other areas of one's life, including when to leave the spiritually abusive environment. And I believe there's no perfect time to leave, right? Whenever you choose to leave, there are always going to be difficult consequences that you need to deal with. And so one way of dealing with that is not looking at it in such black or white terms. It's also called black and white thinking, black or white thinking. So it's either right to leave at this time and wrong to leave at any other time. You know, it's either like one of two options, and that can be very rigid, and it can also just pile on the amount of distress that you're already feeling. So before I go on, if you have not already subscribed to this channel, please do so. Please like, comment, and share. The YouTube algorithm shows this video to other people that can benefit from this content like you are. So if you haven't done so already, please do me a favor, like, comment, share, and subscribe. So the first principle I talked about is black or white thinking, right? Being very rigid. And again, it's not coming from a place of judgment. This is what a lot of spiritually abusive spiritual abuse survivors deal with. Okay, so instead of thinking, is it this time? Is this the right time? Is this the right time? And again, kind of getting obsessive over it. Think about it in terms of when is a time that works, and think about if there are many options that are available to you, and not catastrophize so much what will happen if you don't pick the right one. Okay, the second thing that I would focus on in trying to make this decision is think about the emotions you're having around this. We want to respect our emotions, we want to honor our emotions, but at the same time, emotions can change over time. And so you don't want to make a decision when you are in a heightened emotional state. What I would recommend is kind of taking a step back from your emotions and understanding that if you're in a heightened emotional state, you can wait to make a decision, right? And again, if this is something that's very pressing, urgent, like life or death, well, you don't want to do that at that moment in time. But if it's something that can wait and you're in a heightened emotional state, then think about ways in which you can defer making the decision while honoring and respecting your emotions. And and using this psychological technique can help you not judge yourself for feeling a certain way, but also understanding and respecting the powerful and changing nature of emotions. And so the second technique is taking a step back, honoring and observing, but also delaying that decision when your emotions aren't so heightened. And then the third step that I would recommend is honoring and noticing the fact that you don't, not only do you not have to make a decision right away, but you are choosing in the present to make a decision. And so sometimes people feel very, so what I'm looking for, they feel torn because they're currently in the spiritually abusive environment and they plan to leave, but they feel conflicted because they're in that environment right now and they don't know when to leave. And so a psychological technique that can help address that issue is by simply focusing on the present and not worrying yourself about what you're going to do in the future and how all these things are going to work out. I'm not saying that it's not important, but when you are flooding yourself with about, concerning all the what ifs and what if this thing doesn't turn out this way, you really are losing some powerful benefits from remaining in the moment and acknowledging what's going on with yourself right at that time. So something you could say is, today I've made the choice to remain in the spiritually abusive environment until further notice, right? So you're understanding and acknowledging that, hey, this environment is not great for me. I'm choosing to stay here right now and today, but that decision can change in the future. And that gives you some space to choose how you want to leave and what you want to do. And another technique that I would also recommend is getting comfortable with being uncertain. And so you'll see this principle talked about in my videos on OCD, which is another specialty that I focus on in my practice. But with any type of anxiety or just any type of emotional distress, what helps is learning to be more comfortable with uncertainty rather than do everything you can to try and get certain in the moment. And so for people specifically who are going through spiritual abuse, sometimes that weight of the uncertainty can cause you to do things that can actually make things worse for you. One way this can happen is through reassurance seeking, and saying, okay, like I want to leave this environment. And then you start to talk to other people and start to kind of get their okay before you leave. And that, I've never seen that work out well, because people who are in that environment are vested in it and they're gaining some sort of benefit from being there if they are choosing not to leave. And so if you do that, you're just going to be conflicted. It's going to cause you more confusion. And, if you're trying to leave with as little drama as possible, it probably is not best to share the fact that you're leaving with other people. What I want you to do instead is understand that there is just going to be uncertainty with this. That's just the nature of the beast, right? You can't make the decision to leave and I guess feel 100% sure all the time that it was the right decision. That rarely ever happens in life, especially in situations like this. And so I want you to relinquish that need for certainty. And of course, this happens through practice, through therapy and other things like that, but really get out of the mode of trying to seek reassurance, because you're not going to get the reassurance you desire most likely. And even if you do get some reassurance, it's never going to be enough. Get comfortable with feeling uncomfortable about making a decision that is going to impact your lives and life and probably some other people's lives as well. And that's okay to do. It's not going to be, again, this thing where you do it and everything turns out right, or you make the wrong decision and everything turns out incorrectly. Okay, so the techniques, I'm going to go over them again. The first one is being more flexible in your thinking, right? And get out of this rigidity of it has to be the right time to leave. If I don't leave at the right time, everything's going to fall apart. There's no right or wrong time or even perfect time to leave. So the second thing, a second technique that I would like for you to remember as you're going through all of this is that, when you're going through this decision, there's just going to be some discomfort involved. I think a lot of these techniques deal with the fact that there's going to be, discomfort. And so for you, you want to pay attention to not only what you do, the leaving, but your emotions associated with it. And so you don't want to be in a position where you're reacting out of a heightened emotional state. You want to observe your emotions, honor them, and then defer your decision till you are feeling less emotionally reactive. Okay. And then another technique that can help you is being more comfortable with the discomfort that comes along with the uncertainty of making these kinds of decisions. And specifically, you do that by avoiding seeking reassurance from other people. Something I wanted to add to that is that while I said that it's not the best idea to get reassurance from people in the spiritually abusive environment, it is a good thing, I think, to talk to people who are outside of the environment and who are removed from the situation. And you don't necessarily want to do that again to get reassurance, because some people may not support your decision, but it might be good if you have people that you trust, that you get along with well, to just share, hey, what you're going through and the support that you need. So I hope all this information is helpful to you. If you would like to book a free consultation to get more in depth with techniques that you can use in your spiritual abuse recovery, go to my website, skillsetcounseling.com, and book a free consultation there. You can also click on the link in the description box. I hope you have a wonderful day that is filled with peace. Bye-bye.